welcome back to a drying Wales Rally GB. And after the first stage of day 2 this morning, Ford continues to dominate at the front. Latvala is the man in charge, 14.5 seconds ahead of teammate Pere Solberg. Well, Jules, we are now into stage 8, and this is Chris Atkinson and Stefan Prevost. Well, what do you make of the day yesterday? I think they've got to improve things today.
Yeah, they have. Well, they've got to improve things. They're very high over the jump. This was the jump that was used in the power stage last year. Last year they went left. This time they're going right and up out onto the ranges there. But yeah, Chris Atkinson, I feel, even though he's talking the right show, I still think he needs to be quicker.
Matthew Wilson back in the Cumbrian-backed M Sport Fiesta. Julian, good to see him back in the championship. A decent day for him yesterday.
That's it, yeah. It's been a good day. Look how bumpy it is there with the cuts. Matthew, he's fully on it though, isn't he?
He really is. Evgeny Novikov, Ilka Minor next to him this weekend, doing a really decent job out there. No real problems so far for Evgeny.
He was in that battle for 6th place with Ott Tanak, and Evgeny went off a little bit there last year, so he's got it a lot better.
But this man's having absolutely no problems. It's remarkable just how well Latvala is doing in this rally. He wasn't showing this kind of form coming into the event, but he really is Julian, Julian.
So he actually made a small mistake on the start line in this stage. He had near enough stalled the car. So I'll tell you what, that was then a little bit of punishment probably for a co-driver, because it's going to be a full-on assault for the rest of it.
Well, you can see conditions changing. This is the second stage of the morning. No problems with fog. Really dry surface there, Julian. A bit of dust maybe even being thrown up by the cars.
It's just sheer commitment, Jari Matti. I remember all on soft tyres this morning again. They're rattling through those soft tyres that they've got.
So Solberg still in second place, 15.2 seconds behind Jari Matti, Latvala, and Loeb 23.1 seconds off the lead. Heading in for our first run now, Jules, through the halfway stage. This, one of the drivers' favourite stages, a real classic.
Jamie, that was a bit of a moment. That was over like the Dixies area. This is where Andreas Mikkelsen famously rolled a few years ago in his Focus. You remember
Gronholm, remember Gronholm went off here a few years ago?
Well, Gronholm was on the tarmac road just to the other side.
Man, the tyres are looking warm. What was it you said?
Well, I paid for them, so I better use them properly then.
Well, you've used them properly, that's for sure. They're very worn.
Yeah, I knew that before the stage, but I thought they were going to last the whole stage, so we just tried there.
Yeah, Magic push tyre wear an issue, Jules, through these stages, really drying up through the halfway stage, and these soft compound Michelins just struggling in these conditions.
Well, massively struggling, particularly on the Citroens. They just can't match the Fords. I don't know why, but all of a sudden the tables have been turned.
It was very noticeable, wasn't it? Particularly Nasser Al-Attiyah, Sebastian Loeb.
Sebastian, the front tyres are worn on the outside edge, they're worn on the inside edge. 2 brand new ones in the back. Why didn't you use them?
Hard.
Yeah, but it's dry now.
Not enough.
Not enough?
No, not enough for the hard compound. Here it's dry, but in the forest it's really muddy, and so hard compound in the mud is really bad, so we couldn't use them.
Well, we're riding with Chris Patterson and Pere Solberg now. Julian, Solberg still under a bit of pressure from Sebastian Loeb. Real pressure, in fact, from Sebastian Loeb.
I think he's just starting to look just tense, like yesterday in stages. Just tense, just little mistakes just here and there, and I don't know, he's neat. I mean, the speed there doesn't look like he's going slowly, but he just is losing just fractions to Sebastian Loeb.
Great aerial shot, this one, following our rally leader, Jari Matti. No problems for him, Julian. It is just a wonderfully composed drive from Latvala.
Well, it is. Remember, he hasn't won since Sweden. And let's just listen as Mika calls the notes for Jari Matti on the basically climbing up the top of halfway.
10, oikein 2 kirraa pitkä. 40, nyppy oikein 2 miinus hämää. 10, vasen yksi nyppy pirun pitkä.
I bet you'd be scared if you were in there.
I was actually in a mini World Rally car this week, Julian, and
were
you're
you
right,
scared?
Terrified with Chris Atkinson. Now, still with Jari Matti Latvala, making it look so straightforward.
10, nyppy keskeltä. 200.
Jari really neat and tidy here, and he tell you what, he'd be helping those tyres along by no big slides or anything like that. Soft tyres still.
His driving style a few years ago, Julian, and he'd have chewed straight through these tyres. He was so aggressive, he's calmed it down a lot.
That's it, when he's through the finish, it's another stage win for him.
Jari, I'm hearing you're fastest so far. The tyres on the Ford seem to be considerably better condition than the tyres on the Citroens.
Yeah, that's surprising. I don't understand that, because in Finland we had a problem. My tires were wearing a lot, and it just felt really other way around. So it's interesting how it's that way in Wales.
What do you think's different? What's changed from August till now?
Well, we haven't changed so much, but we have changed the balance of the car at the rear, but nothing major, nothing big. It's just some changes. What we have been playing the effort that we can do quick changes with the car, but for me, we haven't seen difference on tyre wear.
Well, after stage 9 then, Latvia's lead up to 22.2 seconds over his teammate, with Solberg, the intimidating presence of Sebastian Loeb, just behind him, under 4 seconds off second place. Østberg remains in a comfortable 4th ahead of Hirvonen. Well, they were back to Cardiff for service and then out for the second running through the Crooken stage. Stage 10, Julian, and that fog that we saw the morning well and truly lifted this afternoon.
That was it, and it was a big dilemma for the guys back in the service. It was a lot drier, we hadn't had any rain. What do you take, softs or hards? Well, the majority of them came out on the soft tyres. Mads Osberg taking softs, but this time taking 2 spares. And we know what he was saying yesterday about taking 2 spares. He wasn't happy, and look how sideways the car is. That extra 22 kilos in the back. He wasn't a happy bunny.
Yeah, the weight, that extra weight, Julian, just making the car respond differently, particularly
it's
through
a
the
big pendulum. Watch him when he goes through tight corners. The back end's wanting to come out much more.
The biggest problem for Østberg was he knew when he left service the car was going to be difficult to handle, and it was difficult for him in his head, I think, Julian, this afternoon.
Yeah, I spoke to him since, and it was his decision. He wasn't kind of forced into it. It was his choice. So, I mean, if you look in the tight corners, he just wants to move out in the rear end.
That 6th gear, that's almost flat out, so narrow. You can see it's still, although we've not had any rain, still quite slippery.
Mads, there's not the usual happy smiley face there at the end of this stage. Why?
Oh, it's just very frustrating. We push really hard, but it's not happening. I don't feel confident enough to set good times, so I'm not happy now.
Is this down to the weight distribution?
Yes.
Well, certainly he wasn't particularly happy, Mads Østberg, but he managed to finish the day in 4th place. On to stage 11 and 12, the second running at the infant and halfway stages, Julian, and let's wait and see who's up next. Whoa, it's a flying
Frenchman.
Sebastian Loeb. It's a flying Frenchman, Sebastian Loeb. You know, he got very close on the morning's look to Peter Solberg. 3.8 seconds, I think the difference was, but he wasn't able to continue that in the afternoon's loop of stages.
No, he wasn't. He just... Sebastian Loeb, we know, never gives it. Just look at the speed down here. My word. That is incredibly fast. But yeah, Sebastian Loeb never gives up, but he just was struggling. Well, the Citroens, not just him and Mikko were struggling. I mean, Mikko was pretty fraught at stage ends, to be fair. He was completely lost. And Sebastian, he doesn't need to win the rally. We know he's got plenty of points, but he likes to win. And I don't know, it's just not how he wants it.
It's really not how he wants it. He wants to be at the front. He always wants to be at the front. He wants to be pushing for the win. He has given up on catching Latvala, that's for sure. But even although he finished the day in 3rd place, he still is very much looking at Solberg.
Best condition tyre at the end of this stage so far?
We had 2 spares, so we used it in this one. We've done what we could. It's hard for the tyre, but it was okay in this one.
What can you do tomorrow about Loeb and Solberg? Sorry, about Latvala and Solberg?
Latvala nothing, and Solberg, it depends of a lot of this one, but I think if the gap will be difficult tomorrow.
Opens.
Well, Peter Solberg and Chris Patterson having a decent afternoon, Julian, out on the ranges. A bit of pressure on them at lunchtime service. Loeb had that gap way down, but they responded well this afternoon.
They did respond well, and they had to, and I mean, it's still close, and it's still anybody's game for that second place at the end of it. But I mean, so quick here, it's just incredibly fast. Peter obviously having to look after those tyres like everybody. Don't worry, they all went off there last year, not this year.
I was just noticing that huge rock on the inside. You have to be really careful with your notes here and mark the places where the dangers, and there are plenty of dangers up there on the ranges.
There's another one there. Don't cut, you know what I mean? It's so tricky. But yeah, Peter's had a great afternoon, you know, a really good afternoon for Peter.
I think more than that, Julian. I think he's had a great rally so far. Not a single mistake from Solberg, no major mistakes from Latvala either, but I'm impressed by Solberg's performance so far this weekend. That is a quick section.
I'm kind of speechless there. I was thinking, oh my word, it's so quick.
That's it. I asked Loeb what he could do about you two in the Fords tomorrow. He says nothing about Latvala. He said it depends what Petter does, whether I can do anything about him.
Well, I'm sure, you know, it is a close fight, and I'm sure it will be a hard fight anyway, you know, to the bitter end. You know, it's just few seconds, and but I will keep on fighting. So I'm ready. Yeah.
So Solberg did finish the day in second place. He's got a job to do tomorrow. So does this man, Jules. Jari-Matti Latvala. Impressive drive from this afternoon, but he got the right choice with his tyres.
That was it. 4 softs on the car when he came out of service. 2 hards in the boot. And in the second stage of the 3 of the gravel, so that would be stage 11, he put those hard tyres on the front, and they worked wonders. This is this stage here. Really dry, really good. Great grip, great traction from those new tyres. He then would run them into the final stage as well.
A really clever tyre choice from Ford and from Jari-Matti Latvala. To be fair, Julian, we haven't seen that this year. We've seen Ford, Latvala, Solberg making the wrong tyre choice more often than not, but this time today Latvala got it spot on.
He did. In the last gravel stage, he was saying that under the trees in the slippy stuff, he did lose a little bit of time, but he didn't panic because he knew he could get it all back in the final 3 or 4 kilometres when it was dry. So Jari-Matti, wise head on young shoulders.
Not so young shoulders these days, but certainly a wise head, Julian. Yeah, but he's showing some consistency through this rally. Here we go.
Yari, you're just studying the times there. Your tyres look absolutely beautiful compared to everyone else's. I see it's the hards. When did they go on?
The hards went on for the short stage, for the second stage, and pretty much I think it's I don't know what was the right overall. I think the time differences, if you look all these 3 stages, it's been the same, but for sure I gained on the short one, but then I lost in the halfway in the first 6-8 kilometers. I lost some time. Then towards the end it was fine, but overall I think it was the same for everybody.
Well, on to the very final stage of the day. A short blast around the famous Celtic Manor Hotel. It really is a great place there. The Ryder Cup venue in 2010, and really not many changes, or not any changes in the leaderboard coming through this final short spectator stage.
High speed though. I mean, you still get caught out. There's a lot of rocks and a lot of stones to hit, but I tell you what, brought a lot of fans into it.
Yeah, great addition to Wales Rally GB. Very popular spot, this one. So at the end of the day, Latvala's lead over his teammate Petter Solberg, a healthy 24.5 seconds. Loeb just 6.4 seconds behind Solberg in 3rd place. Østberg has held on to 4th, but Hirvonen continues to struggle in 5th. So another stunning day then in the forests of South Wales for Jari-Matti Latvala. Join us tomorrow to see if he can make it 2 wins in a row on Wales Rally GB.